Hey guys, it's Mira, and welcome back to Cupid, a visual novel, episode 2. So far in the series, we have met Catherine and Gilly, and so far we don't have the main character's actual real name, except the nickname of Rosa. So, we're gonna see what happens now, since Rosa, at the end of chapter 1, she started to break down, and she was calling out for her mother after she was being asked to go and live with some of the friends that she met, especially with Catherine. So let's see where it's gonna take us now. Chapter 2, Le Pierre. It's funny, is it not? They always leave you. Such is the way of the world. The more you love, the more you lose. Oh, it seems like they'll all stay forever, but they never do. Deep. I'm the only one who stays, my lovely Rose. My love is the only love you need. Ugh. I probably should get some water, but I'll do it later. You were always so weak. Always so loving to people who did not deserve it. I told you to get rid of her, didn't I? I told you to be weary. I knew it from the start, my Rose. Ooh. She led you astray. Catherine was a curse. She drove you to a love I warned you about. I knew she would cause you pain. I was so worried about you, darling. She almost led you astray. Away from me. Trust in Mother, darling. I am just glad to have you back to myself. Your silence bothers me, child. She was important to me, Mother. I loved her. Mother only laughed at Rosa's scream as Rosa screamed out her pain. Rosa felt strong arms shake her awake. Rosa. She opened her eyes. It was hit by a strange sadness that crushed her. She was dazed for a moment. Why was she so sad? Then she remembered. Her best friend was gone. She was gone. Rosa, how are you feeling? Hold on. Options. Let's turn up this a little bit. There we go. Gilly sat by her bed, a hand on hers. Rosa didn't realize she had been holding on to it tightly in her fitful sleep. She broke from his grasp and clutched her knees. Rosa? She remained silent. I came to check up on you. You went into shock and lost consciousness. I can only imagine how hard it must have been for you to see her like that. His words echoed in her brain, yet she did not register much of their meaning. Rosa still refused to speak, and Gilly fidgeted with his glove. The wake will take place as soon as possible, Rosa. I just wanted to let you know that she's being taken care of. He's hiding something. There was a slight triumph in Mother's voice. Rosa, nothing. He wants to get rid of her body as soon as possible. Don't you see it, child? Tell me you're not falling for this. Rosa was tired. Mother always cynic would always the cynic would say such things. She hated everyone who came close to Rosa's heart. Rosa didn't want to hear it. She didn't want to deal with anything right now. All she wanted to do was wallow in her loneliness, to curl up inside the hole Catherine had left behind and sleep. My child, my child, tell me you see it. Remember the fear in Catherine's eyes in her last days. Look how he is perturbed by Catherine's this one. You have seen it, haven't you? She was mostly hostile. But sometimes when her sanity returned, she was afraid. Afraid of this man. How well do you even know him, child? I've known him for as long as I knew Catherine, Mother. He's a close friend. How long has it been? I didn't ask how long you've known him, but how well. Beyond the mask he displays in public view, do you even know his past? Do you even know any of his ambitions or secrets? He was always a private man, Mother. Think back, child. Isn't it curious how all his past relationships have ended in disaster? Everything he touches crumbles. That's not enough to excuse him of anything. Accuse him of anything. You idiot. He is different. He does not belong. You have felt it too, haven't you? Rosa looked at Gilly with new eyes now. A hint of doubt slithered out from beneath her sadness. Rosa wanted something to blame, a cask for all her regrets. Gilly seemed to be the perfect candidate, didn't he? Yes, you're finally seeing it. Open your eyes, child. It made sense. Gilly and Catherine's relationship began to pewter, that's a weird word, off into coldness right before she died. Her mental instability only served as a compound to compound the fracture in their relationship. Perhaps Gilly was tired of her and had to kill her off for coincidence? Convenience? Fuck my wife? Or perhaps Catherine, in her psychotic state, killed herself to spite him. Rosa stared at the man beside her. He is not to be trusted, child. He is a demon. Gilly returned Rosa's angry stare with a resolute look. I know you must hate me, Rosa. I'm aware I am not. I am only aggravated. I am aware that I only aggravated Catherine's condition with my presence. I know the feeling when I am not wanted. He stood up, He stood up, a hard yet kind look on his face. Just remember that I will always be here for you. As much as I was there for Catherine, even though she spat me out. Rosa bit her lip. When Catherine had refused to eat, it had been Gilly who fed her and attended to her. Despite Catherine hurling abuse at him, he had tried to care for the sick woman himself. Lies, all lies. Keeping up appearances. Then what is it that he has done, Mother? Catherine committed suicide. It was not by his hand that she died. Are you going to leave it at that? Look at his face and tell me you trust him wholeheartedly. Rosa tried to search for an answer in Gilly's eyes. But as always, his face betrayed only a few moments. I don't know. Mother was screaming now. He killed her. I'm sure he did. And you're letting him get away with it. Please, my head hurts. And you say you loved her. You never loved her, you selfish child. I've always known you were this selfish. Just like your father. Stop. You threw people away. Don't you throw me away when I inconvenienced you. Admit it. You were secretly relieved I died. No, stop it. She screamed back at the last voice. Her mouth quivered. Gilly stared at Rosa in shock. The outburst had accidentally came out aloud. It pulled a plug that kept the tears from pouring out. And now her vision clouded, and she blinked them away again and again. She was not sobbing. She did not even realize her face was wet. Gilly and Rosa stared at each other, both kindred in their sorrow. He knelt down by Rosa's bed and wiped her tears with his hand. He did not say anything while doing this, and Rosa stared blankly ahead. It almost stunned her by how many tears a person's eyes could carry. I loved her too, Rosa. He said it after a while. I know how you're feeling. She didn't know if it was her own, or if Mother's anger was somehow influencing her, but her chest waved or heaved. She balled up her fist so tightly that her fingernails hurt. Shut up. She spat at the man, recoiled at the uncharacteristic bitterness in her words. Catherine was afraid of you in her last days. You did something to her. I know it. She could feel Mother inside her head, building up her anger. He has to be punished. You are to blame. He has to atone. You know you are guilty. He must be punished. Gilly stared at her dumbfounded for a few seconds, but the man didn't try to appease her. He only stepped closer to Rosa and wrapped his arms around the hysterical girl. Let go of me. I hate you, let go of me. But Gilly didn't. If you need something to hate, then I'll accept your hate. But you must accept my comfort too. I need you to right now, Rosa. You are the only one who loved her as much as I did. Gilly brought back Catherine in Rose's mind. Gilly's words brought back Catherine in Rose's mind. There we go. I can't read. Almost at once, the anger was replaced with a sadness so heavy she couldn't breathe. Only was she so angry again. Oh, why was she so angry again? I can't read. She was focusing her anger instead of pain. It was easier. The real tears came. The real tears came, all for the loss of the girl they both loved. Tomorrow, she was not going to come. There was only right now the loss and two friends mourning a loved one. Rosa cried until she thought she wouldn't be able to stop, and Gilly quietly held her. Slowly her weeping began to subside into sobs, and only then did he speak again. I stay in the cut to Rosa. I can't read. I'm sorry about my French, by the way. I know you were thinking of leaving right now that Catherine is gone. But I can't let you wander the streets again. I will take care of you. It's what Catherine would have wanted. Like a spell being broken, those words brought back her anger. How could you possibly know what Catherine wants? She pushed his arms away from her. She died. Or, she's dead. Ow, my finger. Oh. Ow. Gilly's mouth pursed. I need to remember to take my medicine more often because I can't read. And he stepped away. I want you to go. Please leave me. Gilly sighed and closed his eyes. I understand. He turned on his heels and left without another word. Oh, hours seemed like minutes to her. She would fall asleep and awaken in unfit. Oh God. She would fall asleep and awaken in unfit intervals so often that she had lost the exact time. Damn. Awake, she would stare at a point of the wall with no coherent thoughts forming in her mind. She would think morning should be spent in a depressive frenzy. Jesus. All the reasons to grieve are yours, after all. She could wail now if she wanted. She could pull on her hair and curse the skies. She could reminisce the past, admire the frailty of human lives. I don't know what that even means. Like how fragile lives are? Unfortunately, it was nothing less poetic. Plain and simple, it was clean. Ha ha. Kingdom Hearts reference. Because simple and clean. I can't snap. I can, kinda, but not really. It was a well-sharpened knife that sliced through the heart of one stroke. Jesus, I can't read. No blood, no mess. Empty. When the tears were spent, When tears were spent, there was just a hole there, hole where your heart had been. Ugh. This is gonna be a long episode. The hurt called out to you. It lingered. But since there was nothing there anymore, you couldn't find where the pain ended and you began. Rosa slept all day. The sun had gone down twice before she shifted from her bed. She stood up slowly, deliberately, with a purpose. My child, you know I hurt when you're hurt. Already a surge of power flowed within her, fueled by her grief. The power filled up, and there was so much emptiness inside that the energy seemed to saturate her whole body. Purpose was always a blame for grief. A balm for grief. What is balm? Don't answer that. Rosa. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wrong character. Mother. Tell me what to do. Justice or retribution? Oh no! Is she gonna have the choice of being able to kill Gilly or not? Oh no. I don't know what to do. Should I do... Because if I choose justice, that would probably be like Rosa killing Gilly. But if I choose retribution, I might end up hurting myself. I don't know. Hell, why can't I save here? I'm gonna go with justice, fuck it. Start with his guilt child. Then deliver punishment fitting for one so vile. He cannot get away with this. A justice fighter. That's an achievement. Awesome. Rosa didn't speak, but she started to form the words in her mind, feeling them in her bones, giving life to every thought. She took a small knife and carved a symbol on the floor. It didn't seem much. It didn't need much. A guilt spell. But I gotta say, Rosa's really pretty in this picture. I didn't aim to punish. I only aimed to inform. She needed to know how much guilt the man carried, and the source of such guilt. If the guilt was concentrate. Oh Jesus. This is concrete. Don't listen to me. If the guilt was concrete and came from a direct action.
It's legit. They're all free, no more. It's legit. Record. Oh my god.
If the guilt was concrete and came from a direct action, then she would know Gilly did something to Catherine. It had been a while since she had used magic. It used to be the only way she could protect herself from the world. Mother had taught her, and now Mother guided her as she cast her spell. She needed a possession of the man. Rosa opted for his voice, still fresh in her memory. She focused on the last conversation they started. If you need something to hate, I will take care of you. I need you. Those words made Rosa feel distressed and confusion. Always it was this way. Oh god. Anyways, always, oh fuck, I can't read. Always it was this way with him. The feeling wasn't foreign. It had been there for years. Always, oh Jesus. Always it was this way with him. Feeling wasn't foreign. It had been there for years. I will always be here for you. Rosa felt a slight violence forge upturn her stomach. It was it was that horrid lurch just before vomiting. You failed. The spell collapsed in her brain. Focus, idiot child, or you'll lose your chance. Rosa tried again. This time she focused on Gilly's eyes. Cold. Like flints of steel. Dark and phantomless. No grief except perhaps for this situation. No Catherine. No pain for loss. This didn't matter, their relationship was dying anyway. Where was his guilt? Rosa dug deeper. She increased the chanting on her lips. No torment. No uncertainty. No guilt. Did the spell fail again? She searched one more and found nothing. There was guilt in Gilly's eyes. She could stop the spell now, knowing that he was innocent. If the spell had worked, then Gilly was blameless. But the absence was most distressing. Rosa desperately pushed her mind further, almost wishing there were traces hiding behind her reach. Guilt had been present in any loss, no matter how little. Don't we blame ourselves for our own loss? Don't we hate ourselves in such pain? Don't we hate ourselves and punish ourselves even if it wasn't our fault? It didn't have to be real. Jesus, I can't see. I'm not focused. It didn't have to be real, but we need guilt to feel pain. But Gilly didn't have a sliver of guilt. The vicious pain took hold of her again, squeezing her stomach with murderous intent. The pain was great. Rosa wasn't sure if the spell had failed or succeeded. Something is wrong. Before Rosa could agree with Mother, she felt a sharp pain in her throat. Rosa clutched her neck, scratching. A sharp, jagged thump lump was blocking her breathing. Did I die? Am I dying? Did I kill her? She could feel its edge crawl up her windpipe, tearing the soft walls as it moved about. The pain did not stop. Oh, Jesus Christ. Rosa fell to her knees and gagged. She thrashed about like a woman being strangled. Her mother remained calm, unaffected by Rosa's distress. Rosa was about to expel whatever it was. Tears ran down her face, a horrible acidic taste coated her tongue. Finally, she opened her mouth and forced the thing out. She kept her eyes shut, afraid to look at whatever had come out of her. But the choking feeling gripped her, and she puked again. She spat after she vomited. Her spit felt heavy and thick in her mouth. It gathered around her knees in a growing pool. Rosa panted like every breath was laced with pain. But the gruesome effect had finally stopped. She wiped her sweat off her forehead. Something on the floor reflected light. She struggled to comprehend She struggled to comprehend what was in front of her. She reached out with her hand and the prick of something sharp made her recoil. She tried again, but this time she seeing more clearly. Rosa picked them up with shaking hands. Needles. Jesus Christ. Her palms were a handful of long metal needles. Rosa reclaimed them with horrified kind of curiosity. She stuck her thumb. She stuck one in her thumb and it drew blood. They were real. They were materialized in her throat while casting the spell on Gilly. Rosa wiped her mouth. There was something wrong with him. Something potent and dark. Or could it be she had merely botched the spell horribly? She had pushed her limits this time. She had gone too far. Jesus. I thought I was gonna die. But still, the tugging concern was forming. It was real as the metal needles in her hand. Rosa tried to stand up on her feet, but she was exhausted. Her knees failed her. She crumpled on the... Okay, I'm gonna be totally honest right now. My throat hurts just reading this. Having metal needles like being thrown up and everything. She crumpled on the floor, like a rag. Are you quite all right, my darling? Now you see it too. There's a sinister force at work. Get up, we have a lot of work to do. We must find out what he had. We must find out what he is and stop him. Rosa stared at the needles in her hand. Who are you really, Gilly? Is that the end of chapter 2? It is! Okay, so... let's do it in this one. So, guys, that... that was Cupid chapter 2. I think there's other things that could have happened during that, but maybe not. I don't know. I think Gilly is actually going to be the bad guy in the story, but I don't know. Rosa's turned out pretty well. I like her character development. I like how I'm mother and I have to choose whether to be mean to my daughter or mean to the others around me, because I'm not a nice person, I found out in this episode at least. So I'm excited for the 3rd chapter, so... Oh, I'm so excited. Anyway, guys, never stop partying, live loud and rock out, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Bye!